Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Charlie and I sell handmade polymer clay earrings and accessories for my shop called Charrings. Now today's video is sponsored by Fimo, which I am extremely grateful for. Now I want to make sure that if I've got a sponsor for the video or if I'm working with a brand, I fully trust and love their products. There is no better brand to work with than Fimo because I use their stuff every single day and have for nearly 5 years now. It's the only clay I really like to work with, and I've just worked from it from the beginning, and I've tried lots of different brands and they just aren't for me. Fimo works best for me, and they have loads of really good tools as well that you can use that you may not know about. So in today's video I'm going to be focusing solely on tips and tricks for polymer clay. I will be using Fimo for the clay, but I use it anyway, so I would be using it whether I was working with them or not. Let's get into the video, shall we? Now, if you've never had a Fimo clay before, they make polymer clay, they make air dry clay, they actually do lots of different things that you may not know about. Now with polymer clay, there are lots of different styles. You can get different effects. You can get metallic ones, you can get pastels, you can get neons, glow in the dark, normal, you can get soft, professional. There's so many different ones that you can get. It's hard to know what to go for. For me personally, I use Fimo Soft. I just think it's the best to work with. It's nice and soft, so it's easier to work with, it's easier to condition, but I do also like to use some of their effects. So I'm going to show you a few of them before we get started, just so you have a bit of an idea. If you've never used Fimo clay before, you've never heard of it, you're just starting off with polymer clay and you just want a bit of knowledge on that, I'll touch on that before we get into some random sort of tips and tricks that we can go through. So here is your standard soft clay, and this one's actually Pacific Blue. I don't use this color enough, but I really like this color. And then we have ones like this, which is Fimo Effect, but they have different effects within the effects, if that makes sense. So this one, for example, is metallic, so you might be able to see the metallic finish on it. Here is another metallic, so this one's a metallic gold. Then this effect is glow in the dark, which I will put some pictures on the screen of some of the glow in the dark earrings I've made with this clay, so you can see how good the glow actually is for this one. And we have some stone effects, so ones like this where it is the normal clay color, but then it's got some effects in there, like a speckled effect. This one as well, this one is seaweed. They also have other ones that I do have, but they're in my storage container, which is a mess. I've got pearl, glitter, neon, pastel. So they have such a big variety of different clay, which makes it so much easier if you only want to use one brand. They've got it all. However, if you're starting up with polymer clay for the first time, you want to try out a few different brands, they do have these little sets which I think are really, really useful for beginners. Now this one is the neon set, so you've got a bit of every color in there, so you can give it a good try and you don't have to spend too much money on it. They also have the sparkle set. They have the brilliant set, which are like more brights. And they also have the basics, so if you just want to start off with just general clay and just try it out. They're little bricks of it so that you don't have to spend lots of money on loads of different colours and really invest into it. You can just get one set and just give it a go. I have done a few different tips and tricks videos on my page already, so if you want to check them out, feel free to. They're more basic, beginner tips and tricks that everybody should know, things on conditioning clay, troubleshooting, anything like that. They're all on my page already. So I wanted to do some different tips or tricks today that you may not know about, or tips and tricks that might elevate your clay to the next level. So the first thing I'm going to put you on is a bead roller. If you don't have a bead roller, you've got to get one, okay? Especially if you make beads, but also you can get them in lots of fun different shapes. So I've got like a strawberry one, I've got a lemon one. I had them custom made, but you can get other ones. So this one is more of a basic one. So this one's great for if you make beaded earrings, but also you can make beaded bracelets, little charms, stuff like that. So I'm going to show you how to use the bead roller because a lot of people don't know these even exist. I've spoken to so many people now and they don't know you can get something like this. So I'm going to show you this one, and then I'll also show you the best way of cooking beads as well, which you may not know. So this is the bead roller. You can do 3 different shapes and sizes of beads, and basically you put the clay inside, you rotate it like this and it creates the bead. It's really, really simple, and it means you get the same size and shape every single time. So let's just try this one as an example just to show you how it works. I'm going to be using this blue clay just to try out these beads. Now this one is Peppermint from Fimo. It's a color that I actually use very often. I really like this color. All you want to do is put the piece of clay inside the bead roller like this. You place the bead roller on top, and you just go back and forwards. Now you can trial and error the size of this at first. You don't know how much clay to put in there. Now I will say other bead rollers that I've used from other brands are very, very noisy. This is lovely and quiet, so it doesn't make that part unenjoyable. And when you take it out, let's see if we've done the right size. Yeah, that was pretty much perfect. And here is your bead. Done. Look how simple and quick that was. And now we've got the bead. How do we bake it? Now, obviously you can add patterns onto it, you can add different textures, you can do whatever you want. I'm just going to show you this blue just so it's simple. Now this is what you want to get for baking. These are piercing pins. I have already got some of these, but I'm just going to show you how I use them. So these are great for beads specifically. Now you can use them for other things as well, but for beads is really good. Put the pin through the bead. And there we have it. The bead is now on the pin, and you can perch this up in your oven. Now what you don't want to do is rest your bead onto the baking tray, because then you're going to get a flat surface. And with a bead, you don't want a flat surface. It's meant to be round all around, right? You want to get a tray like this for your oven, and then with your bead on the pin, you can just place it there, and you can see that it doesn't need to touch any surface when baking. And there's so much space to fill this up with beads. Pop it in the oven. You can bake it for the same amount of time as you usually do for Fimo. I recommend 110 degrees on the oven for at least 40 minutes. Now I know the instructions say a little bit less. I like to do it more, especially if I'm making earrings. It just, the longer you bake it, the sturdier they are, but do not do the heat any higher because you will burn them, and you don't want to burn your creations, especially after creating them for hours and then they all get burnt. Trust me, I've been there. You don't want to do it. Now the next tip I'm going to go over is glazing your earrings. You can glaze with many different things. You can use resin, you can use polyurethane, which are both things that I have used in the past, but I have recently been using Fimo's glaze, and I'm not just saying this because they're sponsoring the video. It is the best one so far. Now with resin, I don't like to use resin because I need to get a mask on, I need to get protective gloves, there's a lot of safety involved, and it is quite an uncomfortable experience, just for me personally. For you guys it might be fine, and if you like resin, fair enough. I also find it's very easy to make mistakes with resin. It can get messy. If you've got daylight, it will cure almost instantly as you're glazing. Sometimes they get a bit sticky after, and I just can't get along with it. Sometimes I use it for trinket dishes and things like that to add protective layer on, but I really don't enjoy using resin. Now polyurethane I used to use at the beginning of my polymer clay journey. I don't tend to use it anymore. I just don't like the residue and the feeling of the earrings after. So this one is best in my opinion. Now you can either get a semi-gloss or a gloss. I use the gloss. So this one here, I do already have another one that I think I've nearly ran out of. Is it there? I might have already ran out of it. No, yeah, I did. I threw it away, but I've already used this one a couple of times. The thing I really like about this as well is that it's like a nail varnish. So it's really easy to apply it to the earring. This is what it looks like. So it's not too big either. It doesn't take up too much room. But what I will say is it lasts a really long time. Here is the applicator for it. So you can see what I mean by it. It's kind of like a nail varnish, which makes it really easy to apply. And here is an earring that I have just from my summer collection, a little starfish. I'm just going to show you how it works with this. It's so simple. You literally just brush it on. So you can see it makes a really nice light coat. You can do this as heavy or light as you want. And you can do as many layers as you want as well. And you can see how quickly that has coated the earring. It's got a nice shine on it. We do just want to leave it out to dry now. So this one's already got the stud on it. So I will just leave it like that to dry. And I will check back in a moment and show you how it looks when it's dried. Here is the polymer clay piece. Now it is dried with just one coat of that varnish. It's fully dry. It's got just a light shine on it, but it's also got that protective layer on, and I really like the finish of this. It's not too much, but it's just enough to glaze the earring and just finish it off. And this is great for sealing glitter, things like that as well. Just keeps it in place a little bit more. Now the next tip is softening clay. There are many ways of doing this, and even though you are using Fimo Soft, sometimes the way you store it could make it harder. If it's a really cold weather as well, it can harden the clay. So sometimes it's almost unworkable. And that's just not with Fimo, it's with every clay brand. If it's too cold, it's just solid, and it is the bane of a polymer clay artist's life, I am telling you now. But it's also the other opposite way. If it's really warm, clay is quite sticky and hard to work with as well, so you want to take the oils out of that. Now if you want a really in-depth tutorial and like information on that, I do actually have a polymer clay guidebook. So it's on my website charrings.com, and it has 20 pages full of information all regarding polymer clay. Now it is based mainly on Fimo clay as well, so I do tell you where you can buy Fimo clay, how much it is, and all information on that, as well as how to condition clay, troubleshooting, things like if your clay is too hard, too soft, how to basically go from a complete beginner to knowing what you're doing after the guidebook. I've had some really good responses on it, so hopefully if you're a beginner you might find it helpful and you might want to check it out. Now one of the ways that you can soften clay is with a clay softener. Fimo do have their own, so we're going to use this one today, and the clay I'm going to be softening is the mint clay. For me, this one gets hardest the most. I find with Fimo Effect, they are a little harder than the soft ones because they're not soft, of course, but this is where you sometimes need a little bit of help with clay softener. So this one is solid. I can't explain to you how solid it is, but it is, and it's mainly because I've stored it out. I haven't put it in a container in a tight sealed space. I've just kind of left it out, and now it's almost unworkable. So what we're going to do is open up the clay softener. You only need a small amount of this. You want to mix it into the clay, knead it together, and it will make it soft. So you just want to mix the two together. Look how crumbly the mint is. You can literally just see it crumbling apart. So you want to just knead it together in your hands. It shouldn't take too long. This is probably the quickest way to soften clay. Some other ways which are in the guidebook are things like heating the clay up, working with it in your hands. You can roll it a few times and start conditioning it slightly. There's many different ways you can do it. This is one of the quicker ways. If you're a zero waste business like I am, I always make sure I use my leftover clay. This is actually a really great tip, is save your leftover clay. So this is the clay that I've been using as of recent, and there's lots of different custom colors. So this one I mixed a little bit of green, black and blue to create this really nice Christmas tree color. You can do ombre effects, so you can see here I've used this as an ombre of 2 different purples, and I've just saved it aside. I can mix them 2 colors together with a bit of clay softener and create a new custom color, which is in between the pastel purple and the darker purple. I've got this one which has got glitter in, because I use them for glittery trees. If you can see in here, I've got a few different shades of green. So I'll mix all them greens together, make a big green, and then I can make something out of it. So you don't need to waste it. You can now see that the clay is so soft. It's really easy to work with. And it took me no longer than a minute to mix that. I do have some other suggested items from Fimo that I personally use and would recommend. We're not going to try them all out in this video, but I do want to just show you quickly so you can see what else they offer if you don't know. First up, we have these tools. Now these are great for a beginner. If you have just started with polymer clay, these are going to be so useful to use. You don't need any fancy tools. These are all you need to start with. You can create so many textures with these, and you can create so many fun designs. For sanding your polymer clay creations, these are great. This is the grind and polish set. Now this is for wet sanding mainly. It has 3 different sanding grades, so you've got fine, super fine and micro fine, so you can kind of pick and choose what is going to be best for your creations. They're also a really nice size, so you can actually cut them up to the size that you want if you need a smaller, if you find it easier to work with if you use it smaller. Another thing you may not know that Fimo have is actually gold and silver flake. I was looking everywhere for gold and silver flake for so long, and I have the same ones in my drawer from honestly about 4 years ago, and I've been holding on to them, so I'm like, I don't know where else to get them. But Fimo do them. There's 10 sheets in each of these. I've got the gold and silver. You can see I've already used some of the gold one before on some of the earrings that I've used. I don't think you can ever go wrong with a silver or gold flake. It just elevates every earring. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, they do actually do air dry clay as well. Here are just some of the ones that they have. So they have Fimo Light. They have a granite effect, similar to the clay that I was showing you hell yeah. And they even have a wood effect, which I think would be so fun for creating things. Now, I've actually never used Fimo's air dry clay because I'm always using polymer clay for earrings. So let me know if you want to see me try these in a whole new video. And I would love to try these out for you guys and see what we think. I think it would be fun. I don't know what to create though. So guys, let me know. What can I make out of air dry clay? Do I make a little vase? We know I love some flowers. I don't know. Let me know. I really hope you've found this video useful, and if you haven't and you don't even use polymer clay, I hope you've just enjoyed the video and seen what else you can actually do with clay. I will have some more polymer clay videos coming up soon with some more tips and tricks, and maybe just a whole video on how to use polymer clay in general. So if you have any ideas of what videos you'd like to see to do with polymer clay, please let me know in the comments and I will create them for you. If you've got any questions on anything that I've touched on today that you think I might have missed, again, leave them in the comments. I always respond to comments and I read every single one. One is never missed. So make sure you leave them down below and I will help you as much as I can. Please do subscribe, like the video, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye.